helpful. First of all, when he fled from his home, South Sudan was not a country yet. He lived in the greater Sudan, and there was a lot of friction about how the lands should be used, and where he lived was just south of the border of what is now South Sudan, and the largest wetlands of Africa. So that surprised me, because I had always pictured drought in South Sudan, and that he would be fleeing from food hunger and whatever. And like anything else, the story is more complicated than I might have imagined. Okay, it's also notable that there is a big field of oil underneath the wetlands there that hasn't been used yet. So just throw that into the story. And so life was changing. And eventually, after he fled into Kenya,
which is down the
south, there it is, right here. Into Kenya, and that's where he landed at when he fled his village.
How old?
13.
Wow.
So he was fleeing. His father had been killed at that point. His mother knew that his life was in danger. She said, "You did nothing wrong, but you need to flee." And so then he was in Kenya for 15 years. I know I'm kind of telling it quick. That's a much quicker thing. And he lost track of his mother over all those years. And I think most of you are aware of that part of the story. What I didn't understand about where his mother lived was the geography of the whole thing. How these people, the Nilotic people, had lived there for thousands of years, going from here to there to the other, and surviving pretty well until the world changed. So there's a conflict, there's climate change going on, and meanwhile he has come to the United States and wondered about his family. His family then was scattered into a number of regions. So as he tells his story, it's interesting to note that his brother and his family, which is, I'll let him tell that part of who's all in that family, were in Khartoum, roughly 1,000 miles from where he has gathered his family back together in Uganda. His mother, meanwhile, was still in South Sudan, in a completely different region about getting there. So he has his scattered clan, his scattered tribe all over. And he has successfully reunited them in a place that's much more livable. And I find that very inspiring. So with that, I'm going to take you back 3 years, and a number of you were at his first ever party for his 30th birthday. So let me play that as an introduction, and then I'll hand the mic over to Lane.
Sorry, there's an ad. I can't get out of that. And it's Tom Emerson's son that did your
countertops has never been easier. With our slab studio featuring.
That's exciting.
A private studio collection. See a variety of stunning stone countertops with Cosentino surfaces. Visit our showroom today. CKF, providing cabinets, closets, and countertops since 1923.
Well, he didn't have a birth certificate when he came to the U.S. as a refugee. So officials decided his birthday would be today, January 1st. And today, the South Sudan native celebrated his 30th birthday, along with a few other milestones. KETV News Watch 7, Sean Everson has a story you're seeing only on 7.
With a big smile and a big hug, Lane Miel has a lot to celebrate this New Year's Day.
Happy birthday to you. It's more than just a birthday. It's what he gives to the world.
Lane lived in Sudan until he was 13. After his father was killed, he fled home and spent 15 years in refugee camps in Kenya. Through the United Nations, he came to Omaha in 2017.
It was hard to figure life out here. It was hard for me to go to work. It was hard for me to go to school. It was hard for me to go to a grocery store. It was hard for me to drive.
Shortly after, he met Linda Hay, his second mother.
So I met Lang in November of 2017, and I was his sponsor at St. John's Church. He was exploring the Catholic faith and wanted to go through the sacraments, so I was his sponsor, his godmother in a way.
I will not find a word to say that she's good. You know how good she is. Yeah, but I would say she's my mom. You know what it means for somebody to be your mom, right? Yeah, someone who can be able to give you whatever you know.
Lane is going to school and has a full-time job, surrounded by friends and new faces. Peg is throwing Lane his first ever party for his 30th birthday and for getting into nursing school. His way to make an impact on the lives of others.
It's not going to be easy road. It's going to be rough. But I'm ready. If I fail, I'm not going to stay down. I will wake up.
Feels like he's been kept safe for a reason, and that he owes that back. And so it's really inspiring to travel along beside him.
In Omaha, Sean Everson, KETV News Watch 7.
Tom Everson as the father of the person who wrote that. I just think being able to put together a story in the length of time he had that sounded like it was all flowing is amazing. And you can give him my gratitude for that as well. Sean, right? So, oh no, that's the wrong place. So, since that time, all three wishes have come true, and the latest being Lang reconnecting with his mother. He wanted to become a nurse. He's now an RN. To provide education for 4 boys who were chosen by the elders of his clan, and they are now in Uganda, doing quite well actually. And the third one was to see his mother. Take the mic. Some of the good scenes are gone.
I wanted to say first, welcome everybody, and I really appreciate your presence. So first of all, before I play for you the video, I know Linda has already told you a little bit about my life story. You know, how did I actually left home, did I left home, something like that. Maybe I need to brief you, and then because after when I came to US here, the 3 wishes, I would say 4 years or 3 years to 4 years ago. So talked to Linda, and Linda asked me, what are really your wishes? You know, who do you want to become in the next 3 years, 5 years? And the 3 wishes, I say, okay, I know I'm separated from my mom. Few years ago, one thing I need to meet her, and then I need to go to school. And the education that I'm going to take is going to be something challenging, just not something that is going to be normal, because my success is going to be a success for others. You know, I'm not doing something for myself, I also want to help others. And that's why I choose nursing. I know it was almost impossible, but I know that I can do it. Yeah. So then the third one, I say, okay, I need to get maybe 4 boys from the village and take them to school. And those things came true. So I left my mom, I would say 19 years ago actually. Yeah, 19 to 20 years ago, when I was only 13 years. And then my living was not something that I just decided I wanted to leave my mom. You know, we had a beautiful life, everything was okay. You know, village life, we don't worry about money. You can stay 2 years, 3 years, you don't see money, and your life is beautiful. So all of a sudden, you know, because there is normally inter-clan conflicts between the community here and there, and then my dad was killed. So technically that happened. Sometimes as a male child, they will target you. The reason of that, you will see, okay, later you might think of revenge your dad or whoever you know has been killed. And you know, my mom told me, okay, instead of me seeing you being killed, I don't want to see that. I want you to flee home. I can't say that I know anywhere that you will go to, but I need you to flee home. So I need you to leave. Whether you go and die, you go and die on your own. Maybe somewhere whereby I don't see you in, you know, dying in front of me. I have my elder brother. My elder brother was big, so he was able to carry a gun. There it's very easy to join the army, so he was able to join the army, and then he protect himself. So that's how I fled home. The journey to Kenya was rough, and then I reached to Kenya. I survived there alone. Life was never easy. How I survived in school was hard, because I had no one who was paying my school fee. So I had to decide that I go to a Kenyan school, and for me to go to a good school, I had to work really, really hard for me to get a good grade. When I get a good grade, then the United Nations told me, okay, because you got a good grade, we're gonna take you to the Kenyan school, a boarding school, because you got a good grade in grade 8. You know, that's how I got my education. After that, I went to another refugees camp. There's like 2 refugees camp. One is Dadaab, one is Kakuma. So I went there, I spent like 3 years. So for me to come here, it was another problem that happened to me in that refugees camp that I went to, because when I went there, I decided to become a teacher, because my goal is always to help people, you know. I wanted to help people. When I decided to be a teacher, I taught for 8 months volunteering. Nobody's paying me. And then after that, I was recognized. Then they employed me. They paid me like $50 a month. That was okay for me. Yeah. So then after that, I decided, I said, I need to help girls. You know, girls are so struggling, and I'm really good in math. And then I set up Sunday and Saturday that I will be teaching girls. Yeah. So because of that, now many girls turn up, they see this advantage, you know, and people see why Lang is teaching girls, you know. It's making girls not to get married early, so we need to kill him. Yeah. And people turn up because of that, because I'm giving girls the education. So I was targeted. I was almost killed. I have wound all over my body. And then that's where United Nations requests US government, you know, for me to be brought here. And that was one of the steps that, you know, I came here. So I'm going to, so the wish that I'm going to play is how, in November I went to Uganda, so I couldn't go to South Sudan. It's very rough over there. Situation is not okay up to now. There's still conflict, so I decided to bring my mom to Uganda. When I bring her, I actually arrived in Uganda before her, and then I met her. So I'm going to play for you how I actually met her the first time.
It's my Mac.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Mac.
Well, that's one of those touchpad things, yeah.
I met my mom like 19 years ago, man. I haven't seen her. And this is the moment that I'm going to see her. You know, I just can't imagine how the reaction is going to be. But I'm so happy. So happy to go and see her. You know, I can imagine that this moment will come one time.
That is the refugee camp in Uganda. brother. So I wanted to say that I haven't met my mom for 18 to 19 years, and this is the moment. I'm so glad to be here. This is my brother, this is my mom. I can't imagine such a moment will come one time. But, so the joy that I have that bring this family together, so I can feel like I'm back home. So I'm glad. I'm very happy for everybody who supported that mission. Anyone who supported me throughout this journey, I'm so glad and I'm really so happy. And all the whole family is also happy. So this is my mom. She's been taking care of me. I left her when I was 13 years. But I would say that 13 years was a very important part of my life. That was what determined who I am today. I can count myself among the few successful individuals, and that is because of her. So I'm happy to be here. This is the home. They feel at home.
So you can arrow over Lane
Yeah.
if you want.
So I'm going to show you, where I came from. How does it look like? It will be in terms of a pictures, so you kind of have an image of, where I come from. So those one we're gonna go, and if you see a picture and have any question, you are welcome to interrupt and ask question. Then you can maybe see something background, something like that. You're curious, okay? Yeah. So this one is a hut, is where we keep the cattle, cows, goat. We keep them inside. You can see the corn up there. So those ones, they hang there for the next season. They will be planted. When the next season comes, they have to hang there so they become dry, something like that. They have a good air condition. They don't keep them inside. So that's why they hang those corn crop. And then the dog over there is kind of guarding, it's like protection. You can't go in that home. Yeah, you cannot just go there in that home. That dog is very furious. He's gonna jump on you. yeah. So, and that hut seems to be small, but maybe there's like 20 cows inside. They squeeze them. There's no space. Yeah, if you go there, it's a hut like, I can't describe it. Yeah.
How do you keep the birds from eating the corn?
Yeah.
Did they ever eat it? Did they ever eat the corn?
No, they can mostly not, because there's actually a lot of them. They keep somewhere inside the tuku. Yeah, but this one are like the next season crop that they will use for planting, but they can eat it. There's no problem with it.
No, the birds.
The bird, when they are dry, the bird cannot eat them. Yeah, when they are dry, but they will not harm them when they are still, not dry.
Hey Lane,
Yeah.
what's the temperature there like when you were there? Was it like really hot?
I would say it's hot. Yeah, even during the wet season, it's still hot. I would say maybe, 80, the least, will be 80 Fahrenheit. Yeah, 80, if it is cold, I would say so.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I was interested that when you told me what you're protecting the cows from, there's also a wildlife preserve there. So think about animals in Central Africa, that there's a lot here in Eastern Africa. So that and the mosquitoes as well, right?
Yeah.
Lions and tigers, yeah. Oh my.
So these are the cow during the day. I would say early in the morning, around 7, we bring them outside there. We milk them, and then after we milk them, we separate the cow from the younger one, so they don't meet. So the role of the boy is when you are 13 below, for you to make sure that the young one and the cow don't meet, because when they meet, they're gonna finish the milk. So everybody's gonna stay hungry without food because there's no milk. That is the source of food. So right now I would say maybe morning time. When they took. This is one of my friend who actually went home in 2013. He actually went there. He lives in Oma over here. So he went and took these pictures. Yeah. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's how my life looked like before I left home. It was like that boy. We have to make sure that we dry the cow manure. Yeah. So when we dry them, when they are dry, then we burn them. So when we burn them, it's a way of like keeping mosquito away from the cow. Because when there is too much mosquito, the cow may not produce a lot of milk. Yeah. And this is like a normal life, like daytime, people come together. Yeah, like you can go to the coffee shop. Yeah.
Starbucks.
Yeah. So people come together, and then they can have some wine, traditional wine over there, and then people enjoy it. So
Did
this
you
is.
have any when you went back just recently?
When I went to Uganda, there was actually a celebration over there. I bring people together, I think almost 300 people. Then I bought a cow. In Uganda, I bought a big bull. Then people eat and celebrate. I bought enough food for 300 people. Yeah. And so most of you over here contributed and supported. It was really good. I think maybe one of the picture will be there too. Yeah. So this is like the wet season because we have the corn.
How long does that wet season last? Is that like our springtime here where it lasts maybe 2 months?
Yeah, it lasts longer because I think it started in June up to November, I believe. Yeah. But then from July they start planting, and then by October the planting stops. Then in November they will start harvesting.
What's the agriculture? Is it mostly the corn or is there grain?
Yeah, there is grain. There is sorghum, millet, would say so. Yeah, millet is mostly eaten, and then also the corn. So this is during the day. Now the cow have been released. You see, they cannot be without the young one. So the elderly boy will make sure that they got the cow, because the cow also they can be eaten by wild animals. You make sure that you protect them. Sometimes you have to have a gun to protect them, or have some spear, in case wild animals come, then you can protect them. For example, my grandfather was killed by a lion because he was trying to protect his cow from a lion. The lion could not, get away, so he had to confront my grandfather and kill him, and get away with one cow. Yeah.
Anyway.
So that is those corn that are dry there. Mostly they are, waiting for the next season for planting. This is how they prepare the food.
I noticed the fence kind of goes around a circle, connects the huts. Is it so? It's a community when it comes to meals. Everybody's together.
When it comes to meal, so only the neighbors, close neighbors, can come together. Sometimes it's hardly that you eat alone over there. If you eat alone, they kind of categorize you like, oh, maybe that guy is selfish or something like that. Yeah, you kind of like call somebody, at least you sit in one table and maybe eat together. When you finish your food, you go to his home and also finish his food. So you kind of like walk from home to home and eat together. That is a culture. Yeah. And this is a school back home there. You see how rough it is?
Didn't you say at one point, Lang, too, that the teacher would be somebody who just happened to be able to read themselves? It's not like you bring in certified teachers.
Yeah. Maybe level 4, primary, whatever. Primary 4 or primary 5, something like that. There's no like qualified teacher. Whoever is ahead of you by one class will teach the class by. Yeah.
And share the book you read.
Yeah, and then people go on. Yeah.
No women in the school? No girls?
No, that's a good question. Yeah, I think the girl
They get married.
yeah, most of them get married early, by 16 years, 15 years. Because most of them, they are reluctant to also go to school because they say, oh, if I go to school, I'm going to be married anyway in the next few years,
But then they can teach their kids.
Yeah. No one is educating people the advantage, There's nobody that is telling people, okay, this is the way to go. Yeah.
It's so dangerous to teach women, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like, if you're gonna teach them in your home, you're probably hiding that you're teaching them in your home.
And so that was just how the women dress. Back there, that's culture dressing. And that was how the guy was welcomed, the guy who took the pictures.
Elaine, where did you guys get all the clothes? You didn't have a Walmart or?
No, yeah, you have to go, yeah, that's a good question. To go to a place where to get a clothes, it will take you 2 days. Yeah, you have to walk 2 days. You have to walk 2 days and then maybe cross the river, something like that. And you get clothes after a while, 3 years after 4 years. Because you only have to get a clothes when the family decide, hey, this car will be sold. So Mr. Egg and Miss Egg can get a clothes. There's no way to get money. Yeah. So one car will be sold so you can get a clothes.
Well, they're really colorful. I mean,
Yeah.
they're bright and.
They are, yeah. And And the place is actually a wetland, that's why you can see a lot of water. So you need to go for fishing, you just go there and do fishing. There's a lot of fish. But it's still very dangerous here. Very dangerous because there are crocodiles there, you know. I remember when I was maybe 10 years, you know, the son of my uncle, we went for fishing, then he was caught by a small crocodile. He was almost taken. Yeah.
One of the things that confused me at first when Lang would tell me stories is he would refer to the road and then he would say that there were no roads. In the wetland, the river is the road, the main is the road. And so I just couldn't understand why you couldn't drive to see his mom or whatever. This is a place that is much more isolated than most places in South Sudan because of the wetlands and because of the inaccessibility of Wi-Fi or internet.
Were the rivers there all the time, or would they be non-existent during the dry season or something?
There is a big one that cannot dry, like the place where I come from is surrounded by the two rivers. They meet in one end, another, so we are just in between. Those rivers cannot dry up. But there's small branches that go inside whatever, the community, and then those ones dry up. Yeah, because that is actually River Nile. If you ever heard of River Nile, the longest river in the world, I believe.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
and that is it.
Wow. Photo for National Geographic. Beautiful.
Like 5 years ago, we had a flood back home there. The whole whatever Afghanistan where I came from was controlled by water, and people could not find any place to live. Some people have to go and climb the tree and spend the night there. And that's why you can see this mom. There's nowhere she can rest with her child. The only way to raise her child is for her to stand there, and then her child can maybe take a nap on top of that one. Yeah. So.
Snakes?
Yeah, there's a snake. If it happens, you meet, then you die. Many people we lost many lives because of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm scared of
Yeah.
snakes. Big snakes.
Yes, a big one. Yes, a big one. There's nowhere you can run to because you are inside the water. Even if you see it coming, where will you run to? It will run faster than you. Yeah.
I have to credit the source for these pictures and, you know, I don't know, turn me in. These were really an NPR feature of when this flood happened, and it changed their terrain forever because it reached the banks of the Nile in such a way that it wouldn't go back. It just have to kind of settle in, changed life. So, sorry.
Wow, that's incredible. I can't imagine. Oh, jeez.
That's the cattle rescue.
So now they are trying to rescue the cow because there's no place. They are trying to take them maybe somewhere, not specific. Maybe they can go and find a place which maybe dry. You see how hard it is. So this one can capsize sometimes. The small whatever boat. You can capsize, but these boys they know how to swim. They can swim. You see, and that is not only a one-day thing. That is, okay, you can stay there for maybe a week because there's no place to run to. So the whole place was controlled by water. That's why when I went to Uganda to refugees camp, where you saw I met my mom, I found like almost 80,000 refugees camp, and most of 80,000 refugees camp, most of them, 90% are coming from this wetland because they were displaced by conflict and also the flood. So some of them are very, very vulnerable. It's only trade of food. So this is a way of life. People stay on this side, that they are trying to put the water on the other side so they don't cross, you know. They're trying to limit the water on this side. That's why now they are being provided. There are some organizations, they can provide those buckets. At least you scoop the water, then put them on our side, then you put whatever tunnel to control the water. Yeah. So it was hard, it was not easy. Especially old people like my mom, I couldn't imagine that she could survive in that situation, you know.
Is that why you thought your mother had passed?
Yeah, I thought she actually passed when, you know, for like 3 months, my brother was looking for her, they could not find her. Yeah. So they found her alive, she was lucky. And that is like the same tukul that you see the cow were in. See how deep it is now. Yeah.
And his brother found a place that was a little bit dry and built a tukul for the family. And you may have remembered this piece of the story or not, but basically the walls are made of mud. They soaked, and his family was in the night and it collapsed. So that one of the boys was severely injured in the leg, broke it and tore it open, and the other one had an eye injury. So that's why they ended up, he made his way within a canoe up across the border and up to Khartoum, and they were treated. And meanwhile, Lane's mother was back in the flooded area that went on for years, really. It never did go back to normal. And so he wanted to bring them back together.
So where did he find his mom then, after all the time?
He was able to go back down and find her after Mawich got his family to safety on their way to Uganda. He went back and did the walk, because he knows the land. And he did the walk and found his mom. But we didn't hear about it for a long time because there was no way to communicate.
Was she on a little island or in a tree?
Yeah, when we say walk, we're talking canoe then on the road? It's the river?
Yeah,
A canoe.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, you tell it, Lane.
Yeah, I think it's canoe because there's no way you will walk on that deep water. So the whole land was full of water. So sometimes you have to get that canoe, and those canoes, they are very rare to get. There are people who make them, and then they have to sell them in a certain place. And one canoe was like $150. It was high. So only certain people could afford. If you have one, you are lucky because your family will spend the night inside there. You know, in case the water come at night. Yeah. If you have nothing, you just stand inside. Yeah. And wait for the miracle to happen.
And I think the question was, where did Mawich finally encounter your mother and what were her conditions there?
Yeah, after, you know, like the land, there are some places, very small places, hard to find. When with my elder brother got his family into that small, whatever, dry land, then he was able to go and find his mom, you know. But it took him almost like 2 months to find his mom. He even thought his mom died. Yeah. So he finally found his mom, and then he brought his mom to where his family was. So you see, yeah, life was hard there. That seemed to be like the only dry place for this cow. Yeah.
The survivors survived on fish, water lilies, and some airdrops from the United Nations, I believe, or from
Yes,
humanitarian agencies.
Yeah. And so also some well wishers, you know, they connect with a small organization there. I need to give maybe a bucket, maybe I need to give maybe a blanket or something like that. Yeah. So and that is my picture. That's my graduation last year. And that is how people move inside the water. They are going from one place to another. This is how the boys, the 4 boys that I took to school, This is how they came from Fangad, my village, to all the way to where they can get the road transport. It took them 7 days inside the water. Yeah. There's no food to buy on the way. You have to carry your own food that you will eat. Otherwise, you stay those days without eating. So it was.
Lang, how long did they stay at the school, and did they stay there for several months at a time?
Yeah, they stayed for 3 months at a time. Right now, they just went to school, and then after 3 months, they will come back, spend like 2 weeks at home with the family where my mom is. Then they will go back to school. Yeah. So this is the first picture when they came.
Lang, didn't they have some problem with their boat on that journey?
Yeah, they had a problem. They had a problem. Then that boat that was inside the water stopped on the way. So they were told, okay, now the boat cannot move any longer. We have to drive into the forest. Then they stayed there for like 2 days. Yeah, no one, is there. It was a big concern.
They must celebrate when they're on dry land for a while, right?
Yeah.
And you should probably mention that when that boat stopped, all the gas in that, that little thing in the back was not for the driver. That was where they store the fuel, because there's no gas stations along the way, which I find some problems with that idea. And then the engine went out, and they were in kind of a rival tribe area, so they really couldn't go ashore safely. So they were stuck in the water for a bit, and there was some malaria that happened. And it's just nothing short of a miracle, really, that all 4 of them survived. One has kind of recurrent malaria because once it's a parasite, so once it gets established, it comes back. So every once in a while, he has to get treated for that. Sorry.
Yeah, and this is the class. They were in class, but it's hard to identify them. Yeah, they were just like 3 of them were in this class. The one boy in front on the next to the girl. Yeah, and then the one with the mask. So, yeah, those are the boys. So
And
they
of
are
course,
in,
COVID happened.
yeah, they are in boarding school. And this is the house that I built in Uganda.
With your hands.
Yeah, yeah, I built that place. I just could stay in a warm place. So this is one of the boy. He's in high school right now. The one in the middle. They give him half scholarship because he's a very good soccer player. So instead of, because you normally pay like 200 a month, 200 US dollar, no, every 3 months. So now because he is a very good soccer, they told him only to pay like less than $100 every 3 months, which is, really good.
Do they know what they want to be?
They are very curious what I know about them. I met with them, I sit down with them, and I see them being a good boys or being, having a good future, But they don't have any idea who they can become. When they are kids, they always target a big thing. I want to be a doctor, I want to be a pilot, something like that. And then when you are closer to that, then you live it. So that is their dream. That doesn't mean that dreaming. And that's my brother when he took his kid, the one that was injured in the leg because of the tukul collapse. The one
kids.
Yeah,
There's more.
Yeah, the one in the middle, and then the one between the girl and the smaller one, the one that was injured in the eye. So, and many people, many of you contributed toward the operation. I know it cost a lot. It cost more than 3,000, I think so. So many of you contributed, and I really do appreciate it because whenever I come up with something, whenever I have a problem, you guys always stand up. And that is because whatever I do is always possible because of you guys. Without me, I cannot do it alone, There are some things that are almost impossible, especially at that time I was in school. I was not working. I was only working maybe 2 days a week. So it was really hard. And now they recovered fully.
The baby? was born right at the time they were going to take everybody to Uganda, and had to wait until the baby was 3 months old to travel. I mean, it's 1,000 miles, and this is not luxury travel. And these were, this one and this one are hers, or all of them?
Yeah, they are for her. Yeah.
All of these?
Yes.
No, he's,
No, that one is from another mother. Yeah.
the other mother was killed by lightning, so he has remarried. And so one of the boys that is learning Gottlock is also his son. One of the 4 boys is his son as well.
So yeah, when his wife was killed by lightning, so he had to go and get married to this lady.
Had to?
Yeah. Because okay, they consider marriage like a compulsory or mandatory, I would say so. Yeah, so he went and married. And that was my travel to Uganda. I took it at the airport. That's how I met my mom.
Do you remember the Eula lady that she was doing? It's a great
She
song.
didn't know I was coming behind her because the car was behind her. She didn't know. She was thinking I was coming the other direction. That's why she was facing the other direction. So I come behind her, and then she was kind of. Yeah, she was so surprised. You see? Yeah.
Did you look much different to her?
I become taller than her son, so she was surprised. And that, you know, bought that bowl. That was a celebration for everybody. It was good. There was enough food for over 300 people. Yeah.
That's a small bowl.
Yeah, but they had to prepare enough food, you know.
Yeah.
That's how women prepare the food. We were sitting.
It was a big celebration.
Yeah, it was a big celebration.
So what are the greens they're laying that was prepared? What are the greens that's prepared?
Oh, those are vegetable. Vegetable. I don't know their name. They're weird. I did not even eat them.
He didn't eat very much. Sorry.
You got American taste now.
You see, my mom is the one with
The stick.
that is the celebration. Now they welcome him.
What's her name? Your aunt?
This is a woman that I know.
Yeah. She's beautiful.
This went on for 2 days.
That celebration went on for 2 days. After they finished, I bought enough coffee. So when the baby went home, I celebrated. Yeah.
I think Lang learned too much in nursing school, and he said he never ate any of the food, and he said because he watched the paper.
Lang,
Yeah.
your mother appears to be healthier now than when we first observed her when she needed the eye operation.
Yeah, right now she's healthy. She's okay. She can see well right now. She doesn't have her glasses. Yeah. And I know when I took her to Khartoum during the operation, you know, it wasn't easy. Many of you contributed toward the operation. It went well. You know, I can't say enough, you know, how you people have been supporting me. And I don't take that one for granted. Whatever I call a success in my life, you know, I counted you people. It's because of you. Whatever you contributed, I don't do to myself. I make sure that it's going to help somebody somewhere whereby it's going to make an impact, you know. Yeah. Because right now I'm independent, you know. I have a reliable job. I can survive, you know, I'm okay. But whatever you guys give, you know, sometimes I receive a check even from people I don't even know, you know. Yeah, but I make sure that I either use that money to make sure that I pay the school fee for those boys because I see a future in them. And for them to become who they want to be is the only way is to get education, you know. But one hand, they say, my culture, I don't know, one hand cannot clap itself. No matter how strong I am, you know, I can never do enough, you know. But when you guys, even $10 if you give, it's going to make a big impact that you will not even imagine. Yeah. So I do really appreciate that. And that I was just talking during celebration. Those are the people during celebration, you know. There were a lot. Yeah. That is the first time I went to see the family. The kid came and gathered close to me. They bring for me water. I say, no, I don't think I'm gonna test that water. Yeah. And that grandmother, she actually knew my dad. Yeah. She knew my dad, and when she met me, she told me, oh, I know your dad. And if you are really like your dad, I think you will be a good example to your community and also to this young generation. Your dad was very hardworking. Describe my dad, you know, I was surprised, you know. Yeah. So right now they live close to my mom, and sometimes my mom will buy a coffee and call her. So the only thing they call a wine now is coffee. So now they drink coffee with my mom. And my mom is very comfortable where she is. Yeah. And life goes on, you know. Yeah. So this is how I was doing the remodeling for the house, because inside was not good. I had to install a solar system on top, if you can see, the one in the middle, yeah. Yeah, and some of you also contributed toward that, like whatever I had, and then it made this one possible. Now, thank you so much for everything that you guys have been doing. Yeah. So that one was the toilet and the bathroom I constructed outside. At least now they have reliable bathroom. This is how it went up. So one is a bathroom, one is a latrine. We call it latrine when it's outside. Yeah.
You shower in one side?
Yeah, they shower in one side, then you get out and go to whatever bathroom. Yeah.
It's up to you.
And it's like 7 meters. They dig it, it's like 7 meters deep. Yeah. So it stayed for like 3 years. And then it become full, then they go and dig another one. And that's the transportation of the, you know, whatever the doors to the bathroom. The only means of transportation in that place was motorcycle. Yeah, I was always scared to go with those motorcycles.
Have you ever made your own bricks? Did you ever do that yourself?
I think I tried Kakuma.
You
I
tried, okay.
Kakuma, yes, but it was hard though. Because Kakuma was surviving alone. I had no house. You know, I had to make sure that, you know, something like that, I stay in a place that is, you know, something is protecting me. Yeah. Yep, so that is their home, you know. You know, they have banana behind them, but the farm is very small, you know. That is the family, minus the 4 boys.
How many kids did your brother have?
This one are his kid, by the way. These are 5 kids, yeah. This one just joined the school.
Which one of his children was the one that was an infant when her mother was hit by lightning?
I think that is small girl. It was the one next to the short boys. I think so. Yes, it is that boy. It's that girl, I mean, that girl. That girl was left by her mom when she was only 3 years. So my mom had to take care of her, and she only survived on the cow milk. Yeah. So that's how she survived. It was hard. And then my last day over there, I took those 4 boys, to the hotel, buy them some food, then we had a good time. And then I left. Yeah. That's when I got my citizenship. Yeah, and now I'm a citizen. That is also an achievement, right? Yeah. So that's all I have. Unless you guys have any question, something specific to something, then I can answer. Yeah.
Who drove you into the village where your family was?
Yeah, that's a good question. I had to hire the driver, also hire the security. I didn't know how the situation is going to be because they drove me very far. It took like 4 hours. Yeah, from Kampala to that village, to whatever camp. Took like 4 hours. Then I spent 2 hours there and came back to Kampala, another 4 hours. Yeah.
So when you go back at the end of this year, what do you want to take?
Like, what do you mean, like
clothing, medicines?
Oh yeah, the only thing that I can take, clothing will be something reliable because, you can, as long as you pay extra money to transport them with a bag, it will be something very useful to them. Not only my family, there's also neighbor, there's also some vulnerable. I have so many people who are sick in the community, they call me, hey, I'm sick. Then if I'm able to see their condition, something like that, I can go and buy some medicine. There's some strong medicine, they sell them in pharmacy, like morphine, like hydrocodone. They sell them in pharmacy over, And over here, you cannot find those ones being sold, Yeah.
Prescription.
Yeah, those ones have to be prescribed. But over there, you buy them, as long as you have money. So I have to buy those medicine. It helps many people in the community with chronic pain, something like that. Yeah. So I help so many people.
Just to know the difference between having a headache that should be treated with Tylenol as opposed to morphine, I think was helpful information. You're talking about educating
Yeah.
your family.
Yeah.
So there's no free medicine.
I have my dream before the end of this year. I need to advance my education. Either at the beginning of next year, because I need to become a nurse practitioner.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. But also before the end of the year, I'll buy my own house.
I extend beyond the end of the year.
Yeah.
We have a house mortgage. Maybe the next. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Maybe you build your own house.
We need inside bathroom.
That would be too cool. Yeah, so one thing at a time, The first 3 things were very challenging because whatever makes this thing to be possible for me to succeed in nursing school. Otherwise, even meeting my mom would have been very difficult. I would not even take boys to the school. It would be hard, I'll be living life of struggle. But at least right now, I have a little bit freedom whereby I'm not under pressure, not much under pressure. That makes things easier. Yeah.
Life is good.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for coming. Feel free to linger, but to mill around and maybe talk with him if you'd like to. And you're required to sign the guest book before you leave.
It's a good place for sharing.
Well, thank you for coming. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Good luck with all your stuff.
Anytime, you know, when you feel like you want to see me, sometimes I can have a coffee with 1, 2, 3 people.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, wonderful.
And work hard in school, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
All right, keep up the good work.
Thank you. Take care.